Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Addo's Playtime. Today, we're jumping back into Oxygen Not Included. And if you notice in the corner here, yes, we are jumped ahead a few cycles. I do apologize for that. It looks like I kind of lost my save, but I was able to recover a little bit that I had played. But what we've done since the last few cycles is we started to insulate this area right here so that we can take our temperature from leaching in too much farther. We're starting to get some really high temperatures, and these do not like being above 30 degrees. And if we really hope to utilize these to prolong ourselves, because our calorie count is getting dangerously low. We are at 600 calories. It's not even enough to feed one dupe. This may be an unsuccessful journey right off the beginning. The other thing that we started to do was to finish up our hatch stables here, getting them prepared for the hatches, having all this stuff together. We set some bins here to just have raw materials, sedimentary rock. We might actually put some igneous rock in there as well, just because we don't have too much sedimentary rock as it is. So we're going to have to do that. We set these at a priority 6, but we also are going to have these for hatches with some sedimentary rock, but we're probably going to have to feed them sandstone until we get that. So we have those set at a priority 7. We have these set at a priority 6. Now, the reason that we do that is because we want the dupes, to put everything in these first and then have a backup so that they don't have to travel very far. And when these get below, they'll automatically put it in there and so on and so forth, making it just really convenient for us and all that stuff. Now, as you can see, we have the yellow hue on here because we have an emergency action going on. Joshua seems to have gotten himself stuck in our beautiful, beautiful, clean water supply here. Joshua has been stuck here long enough that he has a full bladder, in danger of polluting our clean water here. So we have set an emergency action for everyone to come down here and try to save Joshua. Let's see if it happens. He's going to kind of dig himself out a little bit. I think he'll be able to get out right now and get up there. So let's see, Joshua, you going to make it? We're going to move him the moment that we can because of the fact that we need him out of here and near the bathrooms just at the exact moment that he can. And hopefully it'll keep him from peeing in somewhere where it's going to be bad. So if we put him here by the bathrooms, I hope that he will get here and use the bathroom and well, catch your breath, Joshua. It's all right. Everything is over. There we go. One of the things that I was also doing was expanding our water tank here. Now, I was trying to keep things from falling down in so that I wouldn't have to have people go in there and sweep that stuff up. But obviously, that didn't quite work when Joshua got stuck in this area. So now that he is unstuck, we're going to go back to doing what we were doing, which is expanding this out. I really want to try to consolidate all of these water tanks down in here as soon as possible. I'm going to line this up with pitcher pumps because I don't want to do this messy water thing that we got going on here, because right now people are moving back and forth and it's just not very convenient. We really need to start looking at the vents and geysers to see which ones is a continuous water supply. It'd be really nice to find one that could give us some water so we can start making a self-powered oxygen maker. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put a couple storage bins down here because we're going to start sweeping up this mess that we're making as we make it. So this is kind of going pretty good right now by digging this out and all that stuff. The bad thing is we don't really have any oxygen down here. Once again, we're really low on our algae, which actually we can probably fix that now. So we're going to deconstruct that tile, and we're going to build this ladder system down. And we're going to go over here and harvest all this algae. Now, we're still good on the temperature, and it'll also give us a muck root. So that'll give us some extra algae going on. We'll get some more once we get all this out. And we can probably just drop this right straight down, but I need to build this tank out before I do that. All right, we have a printing pod activation. So we could use a dedicated cook. Let's see, they're a caregiver, they're a rock fan, so during meteor showers, this is a new one to me, +3 bonus to all attributes. That's kind of cool. I think we're gonna have to just go ahead and stick with the brine and not take on another duplicate. I mean, our calorie count alone makes it tough. Having 6 at this level is kind of a little rough, but they're digging this out right now. We'll get this going. This algae will be ours, and we got some more in. We still are reading 0, and we're ready to dig out some more here. I just want to do this really slow to keep anything from dropping down in here. I really don't want to have to deal with that. In the meantime, what we can do under plumbing is we can do a couple bottle emptiers right here. And once those are built, we can have them start putting in bottled water into this area. All these bottles that they're cleaning up would be nice to get them cleaned up and into this area. I'm also going to, just as a precaution, put 1 brick there so that if I break this away, and this is way too much water, I mean, this is 1,000 kilograms of water sitting here. I'm going to break this up slowly and try to push this water this way and clean it up and push it this way. That way we don't have it all fall down into here and then cause us a new disaster that we don't want to deal with. Oh yes, the research. We were researching into incubators, and so we had to get the refrigerators, park, and all this stuff, which this is new. This is a radiation lamp. Emits radiation when powered that can be collected by a Radbolt generator. Okay. It's specific. Everything that has this little tag on it, it seems like is specific to the Spaced Out DLC. That's the same as this. Botanical analyzer. I've never seen that before, and we don't even have the nuclear research going on yet. I think, or is this the nuclear research? I don't know. Data analyze. We'll see. I haven't gotten that far. I've never seen it before. So we're trying to get into the incubator so that we can start incubating eggs to get our hatch farms going. It's important that we get the hatch farms, like I said, going as quickly as possible. It'll help with all of our stuff. And we're doing pretty good. I don't know what her chances are of getting a seed. There we go. There it says her harvesting speed. So she is at a level +2 on her total agricultural. And it's giving us a 10% harvest speed, 5% tending speed, and a 7% chance of getting a seed out of any of those. So as long as she just keeps doing it, she'll continue to move up. Hope that she gets us some more seeds as quickly as possible, as we are still in desperate need. Now, we picked up some muckroot when we dug all this out. So we got our pitcher pumps in. So we're going to select the liquid, and we're going to select water. We're going to leave them at this priority, and we want to make sure that we select the water, because if you just check this right here, they'll put the polluted water in, salt, brine, everything. And then it's a disaster trying to a tank this size. You will spend an eternity trying to filter out all that stuff, and it is a real pain. And I've done it before. I do not want to do it again. I believe we researched the lavatories. I'm going to get those set up. Okay, so we had a dupe just go to the potty because we just destroyed our potties. I didn't think that they needed to go, but I was a little nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, we just lost our beautifully clean water. But I am so lucky that I decided, and he's going on the ladder, to dig this out so that so that it wouldn't go in here. We are going to safety precaution this by putting that right there. It's going to block off all this stuff for now, but I'm okay with that. I don't need my dupes going in here right now. There's really nothing to do except for this digging and that, and we're just going to cancel all this for now and be happy about the fact that we just got so lucky that we didn't pollute our water. Okay, so what we have going on here is our basic bathroom layout. So basically, all of these are automatic sinks. These are all automatic toilets. And what's going to happen is the water is going to come out of the pipes here, and it's going to get sieved. So it's going to be polluted water coming out, gets sieved, and goes into our storage tanks here. This water will be clean, but with billions and billions of germs. And so once it comes out of here, it'll go back into the toilets for the dupes to use. And yes, that's correct. They will be washing their hands with polluted, germy water, and the game doesn't care. And neither do the dupes. So this is our next step here. We're going to get all this done, and then we're going to build all this out. And then we'll have to bring up some water from here. So that means that we're going to have to get back in here just for a second. And straight into there. Now, we don't need very much water. So we can actually just have this ready, and then we will snip it once we get to the point that we have enough water in the line. We also need to bring down some power, just for temporary, just to get this guy going. It's time for us to select our next bit of research. So this is where the kind of looking at mid-game. You could go into power generation and start trying to, give yourself a really nice power grid, but that's not important to me right now. What is important is getting a proper self-powered oxygen maker. Now, the classic version is using water, mix it into hydrogen. You use the hydrogen. But to do that, we need this electrolyzer. Like I said, the hydrogen comes out, and then you come in and get yourself in your power overlay. You come and get one of these hydrogen generators right here. Or not. That's natural gas. Hydrogen. Here we go. This gives you the ability to start your power grid because you get power transformers, you get heavy watt wire, things of that nature. And honestly, most people just go right into this or even come into steam powered because you're getting into the heavy part of the mid game. So right now, we'll go in and go ahead and get the electrolyzers. And then as soon as that's done, we'll get into the self-powered oxygen maker. Now I need to bust into here to finish this pipe off so I can get my bathrooms back before my dupes start wetting themselves everywhere. So I've decided to set up some temporary bathrooms as most of the dupes woke up and they are peeing all over themselves. It's becoming a real problem and a real disaster. I'm trying my best to not at least get it into my clean water. I was going to bust this out, but I decided that it is a terrible, terrible idea, and I forgot to cancel it. Thank God they can't get through here. We're going to go ahead and break that back up because it's just not a good idea and a good time to get in there. Poor Ashkin is over here doing research in his own urine. Poor little guy. I'm sure that can't be a pleasant environment to work in. So it looks like we're putting the finishing touches here on the water pump, getting it constructed. They're having a hard time because they're having to keep go up and down to get the breath of oxygen. But they're about to have this done. All right, we're ready. Oh boy, do we not have power? Ah, yes, power. Power, go. All right, so now we're gonna pump a little bit into this to get things started, and we'll see what's going on then. All right, we have a blueprint activation. We are going to take the calories. We are absolutely going to take the calories because I don't think that we have had calories the entire time. Oh, Gene got a little bit of hypothermia from all this, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. We're going to cancel that. All right, we're going to pump up that water. We're going to get a good amount into this pipe. We'll probably let it go all the way and get filled up before we cut this pipe off. We will let it fill all the way until it stops. And once it stops, then we'll cut that water, and that'll be a decent amount to get started with. This will just keep pumping in. It'll keep getting sieved, so on and so forth. We're going to set this at priority 7 so that it's always getting sand. Whoa. That was a terrible move by me. Thought I had the button on, but I did not. Okay. We're going to push this here. Boom. Done. Going to run that right across there, and it looks great. So as soon as these things are going, now they're using them like crazy. We are going to destroy and deconstruct all of these. And now they can use these lavatories, and I'll never have a problem with them backing up, needing cleaned, anything. And that is great. We have a deodorizer here right now because these things, until we find a place to put the polluted water, which will probably be somewhere down here, I would imagine. Until we get that fixed up, I'm just going to let this deodorizer do its work and kind of deodorize that polluted oxygen that's trying to make its way out into the base. We have a few pockets of polluted dirt that have got, or polluted oxygen that are kind of hanging around. We had some right here because somebody peed right over this. It's actually affecting the way that our carbon dioxide is going here, but we'll get that fixed in a little bit. It's not too big of a deal. One little side note here, Camille here has finally gotten to a point where she can be a critter rancher. So she has enough skill points now that we are going to go ahead and pop her into critter ranching. Now, crop tending probably would be the smarter move right now, but I really want to get those critter ranchers going. Like I said, they take at least 20 cycles to really start producing everything that we need them to produce. And I want them to get that going as soon as we can. So we're going to try to get one dedicated ranch going. We have a little bit in the storage for sandstone, so we can start making our critters. We had researched the incubators not too long ago, so we're going to try to look for those. Right, so here we go. We got incubators. Now, they require 200 refined metals just... Yeah, I meant to do that. They require 200 refined metals just to build one of them. And we have 500, which gives us a little bit extra to spare. I definitely want to wait. I'm not going to power these. I never have powered my incubators. There's really no benefit to it. So I just want to make sure that we put the hatch eggs in there as soon as possible. We have one right here. And like I said, once they hatch, it's easier to tame them. And so that'll also help our rancher get these things going. We're going to set these to a maximum of 7 for now. When we get automation, or a maximum of 6, because an egg counts as automation. Once we get these things, once we get automation in here and rail system and all that stuff, we can actually set this to 7 and have the eggs be scooped up right away. And then there's no real problem with the critters being in there and it causing overcrowdedness and things of that nature. So we got our incubators up and running. So we put our first hatch in there. So we're going to put another hatch egg in there. We're going to make that continuous. Now what I'm going to do in the meantime is I am going to crush up some more rock here so that I can have a couple hundred, about that much more refined copper. And that'll help out with making more incubators, because as time goes on, we're going to need more incubators in a hurry. So I was watching Camille here and trying to figure out why she wasn't wrangling up any of these critters. And I was like, I can't figure it out. I've set the priority higher. I didn't know if it was because of the schedule she's on where she's coming, but I know she can wrangle them through the dirt. So then I was like, what in the world is going on? Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's a me thing. That's a total normal thing for me to do while I'm playing this game. All right, well, we're still having a major calorie deficit going on here, but we are just about done with all of this. I may have to kill a couple of these critters, unfortunately, just to get ourselves a little bit of food in the meantime. So I'm going to actually prioritize this to an 8 and get that food up and go into our dupes. Because the last thing I need them to do is die of starvation. A lot of their calorie counts are pretty good. They're in the 2,000 range, so we just technically ran out of food again. And we just got some more muck root from digging something up somewhere. But I really want to try to get the calorie count a little bit more stabilized. One of the things that I'm going to have to do is prioritize this drop-off to like a level 8, just to get them doing this as much as possible, just to get Camille to do that. So see, she's trying to wrangle while he's trying to kill, so this will be interesting. Who gets it first? I think That poor hatch lost. They're doing it again. That poor hatch saw its death before it saw its anything else. I'm going to sweep this up. Priority 9. Where's that meat at? Let's sweep that up. Priority 9. Let's get that up and going and cooked up. And beautiful calories in our dupes' bellies. Okay, so Camille just delivered off her first hatch, and now she's scrubbing them. When this happens, under the status, you could see a lot of different things. This hatch is currently wild. Once it becomes tamed, it'll live longer. It will require more, or won't live longer. It'll require more calories, and it'll produce more eggs and all this stuff. Now, unfortunately, this guy is 92 years old. But fortunately, we have some babies about to be born. And when they're born less wild. Now, the one thing we want is the stone hatches. And the reason we want stone hatches is because you can feed them any rock in the game, and it's totally cool. They'll eat all of it. So depending on what you feed them makes to where you get the stone hatches. That's why we need this sedimentary rock. We need to try to go find some of that as quickly as possible. Maybe dig it up in this slime biome. But man, messing with slime is no joke. It's not easy, and it's not fun to deal with. So we'll get to that as soon as we possibly can. Hopefully we'll get this project done here in the next few minutes, and it'll free up some dupes to do some other things. But for right now, we're going to keep on plugging away at it. So our project is going pretty good here. We're still digging this out. We definitely want to clean up the bottom before we mess with anything so that our dupes aren't going down to grab resources, getting the soggy feet bonus like Gene here is doing. Oh, we have some meat down there. Let's sweep that up, priority 9. In fact, let's sweep all this up, priority 9. Let's get that stuff out of there. We'll sweep that up as well, priority 9. So, in the meantime, we have another blueprint. Let's see what we got. I'm actually leaning towards the farmer here. So, Bert, I like what you got. These are all kind of weak, but we'll go ahead and print you out. And welcome to Addo's Playtime. So with Bert, we're going to put them on a schedule. We're going to give them their own schedule here. And we're going to go immediately into skills because Bert gets a skill and put them into improved farming. Give them their hat. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. So we still don't want to, if you don't have to give the talents out, I wouldn't do it. Really, there's really no benefit to it. But I am going to give her second skill in cooking, and that'll just make our cooking a little bit better. The base just kind of does look like a mess right now, but trust me, it'll all come together in the end. Right now, this is just a starter base. We may build our base more towards the top permanently, but for now, this is what we got. All right. So I'm trying to dig out some of this algae, being really careful about it because I know when I do that this water is just going to plow down, spill over, and then all my work here is for naught. In the meantime, I'm still trying to dig up as much algae as I can find. Really need to get that self-powered oxygen maker up and running as quickly as possible. So we're going to prioritize all this stuff, though, to a 7. I don't know why it didn't do it when I said it. We'll get this stuff up and running as soon as we can. Okay, so we finally got this big tank expanded. And what we're doing now is I want to sweep up all this material and put it in here along with these. It shouldn't take too long since these are the sweep only, just like these. These bins are sweep only, the same as those. They'll start prioritizing putting them here over everywhere else, and since it's not a very long journey, they should be able to do it quite quickly, and then we can put a bottom on this and then really just let these two waters get in there. And the reason I want to do that is because there's a ton of algae in here that we desperately need. I made a storage bin here to hold just algae so that you can kind of see it. I mean, I could look at the resource menu and see how much algae I have, but I do like having the convenience of a bin also, just so that it's easier for them to get back and forth and fill up these uh, these kind of things. Now, we're under max gas pressure here, so I'm not too worried about oxygen levels. We're doing really fine that way. I do want to get some better airflow into here as well. So I've dug out all this and I'm kind of preparing it for our power generation and all that kind of stuff. Gene is starving, huh? Why are you starving? You should have eaten before you went to bed. That is very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and pop a couple more tables in there too, because I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables and 7 dupes. That could be why Gene is starving. That could be why I'm finding mule lice all over the place. In the background, I've just been knocking out as much of this research as I possibly can. I'm going to go ahead and get into this so that I can kind of really go down the 3rd tier's worth of stuff. There's really nothing specific that I want currently. We're just going to keep plugging away at the research. At this point in the game, I'm kind of creeping up on the mid-game pretty hard. I need to the hatch farms going, keep the dupes busy, keep starvation off. But I've got a lot of things kind of automated as it is, and it's looking pretty good. I'm kind of pleased with it so far. I got a few other projects that I want to get done before the end of this episode, but we'll keep plugging away at it. So I was getting pretty annoyed by the dupes constantly having to catch their breath and run sometimes way up here by this oxygen to get their breath. So what I've done is I've added a little oxygen diffuser here just to speed things along a little bit. Like I said, it's kind of annoying watching them go back and forth all the way up to here, and it just is taking forever to get all of this cleaned up. In the meantime, as they clean up an area, I've been trying to keep things from falling in, minimally. Let's see what the printing pod has for us. Oh my gosh, hatchling eggs, are you kidding me? Oh boy. Unless there's a dupe I just can't be without, we're going with the hatchling eggs. So there's not really a dupe that blows me away here. Doctoring I don't need. I have a cook now, unless I'd rather get someone with a really high cooking, tidying and a general whatever. I got 2 of those right now, and I don't really want another mouth to feed. Even though we are at 11,000 calories, it's still just too much of a risk. I'm going to take these 3 hatchling eggs and I am going to put in another 2 incubators and get those suckers going so that we can get more hatchlings going right now. I don't really want to feed that to them, so I'm going to take that off of there. And I'm also going to take it out of here. And we'll go from there. I'm just going to feed him sandstone for now until I can get the other stuff. I'm also going to make that an emergency sweep because I do not want those guys eating that up at any time soon. And anytime you guys want to, get that igneous rock. Oh, I forgot the baby hatchlings, how they sleep. They sleep on their back and snore. This is a good chance to talk about the hatches and how they're tamed. Once they're tamed, they get this little bracelet on their leg here, showing that they are tamed. They're wild until that moment. They get groomed enough. They finally made it tamed. And once they're tamed too, you can see a lot more stats about them, how their happiness is, their reproduction rate. Their base reproduction is 2 a cycle. Because they're happy, they get another 15, meaning that, like I said, they produce an egg about every 20 years on their age. So, their calorie count, all that kind of stuff. So they're doing really good, and this will be great. So I'm watching my dupes pick up all this stuff that I want them to sweep up, and it is taking forever because all they're carrying is 200 kilograms every time they come by here. So we're going to go to the skills, and we're going to help them out with that because this is getting exhausting to watch. So Bubbles here, we're going to give them improved carrying, meaning that they can carry up to 400 kilograms. Make that a little bit better. We won't go for the second one just yet because of the morale stuff. The same with Gene. We're going to give them improved carrying. It's just a good skill to put into right away. The strength gives them abilities to improve their carrying as well, but we're going to give all of them that kind of improved carrying stuff, except for Ashkin. We can leave him alone and let him just kind of do his stuff. We might actually give him the field research here pretty soon. We're going to need that to identify all of our geysers and things of that nature. But yeah, Bubbles here, but we're going to get her into probably some hard digging since she specializes in digging. As soon as we want to get outside of our biome. But we're going to take this slow. I don't want to make any mistakes. We had one little mistake earlier with the bathrooms, but we've worked that out now. We need to get our polluted dirt and polluted water into a tank and start like over here so it can off gas on its own. We can put some deodorizers in and just kind of keep it out of sight, out of mind, as they say. So we're going to go ahead and keep plugging away at this. Now that they're picking up way more stuff, their strength is higher, their athletics are getting good. So yeah, they're picking up quite a bit more kilos of stuff. They're going to get this done in a hurry.
Hey everybody, it's Addo here. I am sorry for cutting in again. I did record far too much footage again, and I was not able to cut it down short. I promise that into the future, I will not do that anymore. I have a plan on how to keep things short and condensed so that you only get the 30 to 35 minutes of film that I want to have in each episode. So please bear with me through my learning curves and knowing how to do all this, as it is kind of the beginning of our channel. So please like and subscribe and come back for more Oxygen Not Included. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time that a episode drops.